Devon Nicholson here. I'm also known as Hannibal in the professional wrestling, combat sports, and UFO worlds / paranormal worlds now too, because I'm a reporter in all of those domains. And today I have a personal video to do. It's a response video to Human Rights Tribunal educator Annie McKendy's decision against me in the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal, a case I had against program manager for the City of Ottawa, Luc Lavictoire, and the City of Ottawa itself, stemming from a wrongful dismissal they made against me that was overturned because it was wrongful. And I believed that they had violated my human rights because I was undergoing hepatitis C treatment on that time. I was on 3 very powerful hepatitis C medications, as well as numerous psychological medications to combat the side effects of the hepatitis C medications I was on. Now, the educator, I'll say her name again, Annie McKendy, said she didn't decide in my favor. It was a summary judgment because I declined to call medical evidence, even though I provided numerous doctor's notes on my behalf. She didn't make this very clear, by the way, that she was going to throw out the case if I didn't call an actual doctor to the stand. But I did provide doctor's notes. And the other matter is, I already had a case against Abdullah the Butcher, aka Larry Shreve, in relation to how I caught hepatitis C that was very expensive, probably by now over $100,000. And up to this day, even though I got the first judgment, the Canadian judgment in 2014, the American judgment in 2016, he has not paid the judgment. He's been avoiding paying that judgment at all costs. And in that initial trial, I had to pay for doctors to testify on my behalf. So the reason I did not want to pay a doctor to come in, because again, the educator wasn't clear, I'm going to throw your case out if you don't have a doctor come in to testify. And I was self-represented, and I'll explain to you why I'm self-represented. The Human Rights Tribunal had a maximum judgment in this case of $25,000. Now, I was made aware by some legal experts and some off-the-record discussions that the most I was probably going to be awarded in this situation was $10,000. I had already spent numerous $1,000s on legal fees when I started this case, and I knew there was a maximum of, I believe, $5,000 in legal fees that you'd be repaid. And then when you want to talk about bringing in doctors for expert testimony, you're talking about a couple $1,000s a day. And I know this from my case against Larry Shreve. So the reason why I wasn't that eager to call doctors in to testify on my behalf was because I thought the medical notes were good enough. They explained that the medications I was on for hepatitis C did cause aggressive behavior, mood swings, and other psychological side effects. I have worked for the City of Ottawa since 2008, and I still work for the City of Ottawa. When they reinstated me, they put me in situations where I was often working with children. So it's quite obvious that they didn't actually feel that I was a dangerous or aggressive person, or they wouldn't have had me do some jobs such as supervising children's birthday parties at the recreation center I work at. That's one thing that I would not do as a person that runs my own company. If I thought someone was extremely aggressive, I wouldn't have them work with children. But my point is, the only time that I displayed this behavior while at work was the one time when I was going through my treatment, and I was actually not at work at this time. I was off my wrestling promoting job. I was off the job I working with developmentally delayed adults in group homes, and I was off my City of Ottawa job. So the reason why I was off these jobs was because of the side effects of the medication I was on. Now, when they terminated me at the time, not only did they terminate me, but I was actually banned from stepping on the premises of my old workplace for a year. And if I did step on the premises, I would be subject to arrest. So that's a little overboard. And then let's take into account what actually happened. I had an argument with a coworker in which there was no threats of violence made. The only threat, and this was confirmed at the arbitration hearing, was, "You're going to hear from my lawyer." And yes, this person was a coworker of mine at the City of Ottawa, but he was also a videographer of mine that I used to work with. And this gentleman was actually withholding tens of thousands of dollars worth of footage that I had actually paid for. Now, at this time now, this is easy for people to believe because a lot of that footage has been posted on my The Hannibal TV YouTube channel that has nearly 100 million video views. And now in 2020, I am known as a reporter more than I am as a wrestler. But at this time, this gentleman was withholding the footage. I eventually had to get it back after 3 court appearances where the footage that I owned was returned to me, and that's fine. That ended that situation with that individual. But the way I was treated by the City of Ottawa, in my opinion, did not take into consideration that I was on this medication. Yes, when I was approximately 6 to 8 feet away from the individual, I was not even stopping. I was continuing walking. I took my fist and I hit it down on the desk. So that was an act of frustration. That's it. And did I ever get blamed for doing that when I was not on medication in a workplace? No, and I was not working. I did not leave the job I was doing that night to do a scene like this. There was another reason I had to go to the building, was to pick somebody up from the building. I did not expect this individual to be there. And I was off work, very poor, struggling for money. Did I need to hit my hand down on a desk? I don't believe I would have done that if I wasn't on medication. The medical notes showed that the medications affect mood. But as I said, it's a flawed system. The City of Ottawa, they have a whole legal department and unlimited funds practically to defend these things. I was just an individual with a high school education, self-representing myself. So to this educator, Annie McKendy, I think it was a lazy decision. I don't think you wanted this to go to trial. And I think it's a slap in the face for people undergoing treatment that are not taking into account the medications they are on when things like this happen. This was not a situation where anyone got hurt. This was not a situation where there was ever any intention for anyone to get hurt. So that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.